You need to settle, little one. Mama needs to rest. What about a story? One I was told 1,000 times by my mother and father. A love story. Would you like that? Yes. Okay. Let me see. On an island land, where the water shimmered so blue it melted into the sky, and fields so green they put emeralds to shame, lived a lovely young lady. This lady was as beautiful as the land she was raised, though she would never say it herself. With deep brown eyes and dark hair that fell like waves down her back. Her smile could turn even the coldest hearts, and she was loved by all who knew her. This lady's family had lived on the island as far back as anyone could remember. A strong bloodline filled with lords and warriors. And now her own father ruled over the land. He was a great lord, with 2 grown sons to carry his name. And he prided himself on keeping his land prosperous by his own merit. And though he paid allegiance to the mainland's king, it had been quite a long time since the king's presence was felt on that island. That was all to change when the strangers came to shore. Now the lady loved her family, but still she found herself wishing for more, for something different than her simple, calm existence. So on the day when the ship appeared on the horizon, she could not help the excitement that filled her heart when she ran to tell her father. She stared in awe as the strangers stepped onto the sand. A handsome prince with a charming smile. A southern beauty with hair the color of sunlight. And an arrogant knight with a cocky grin. The beauty curtsied. The prince kissed her hand, and the arrogant knight offered her nothing but a wink of his eye. A blush tinted her cheeks, but beneath it stronger feelings grew. Intrigue, fear, but anger ran hottest. She was a lady of the Isle. She deserved more respect from just a lowly knight. The lady's father greeted them, of course, welcomed them into his home. After a good meal and better wine, he warily asked their intentions. His brow furrowed as they spoke. The king demanded a match, a marriage. The beauty would bind the Isle to the crown. The eldest brother would be forced to wed. Now one does not deny a king, but a marriage. A marriage. Marriage is not a simple matter. The oldest son raged against the idea, urging his father to send the trio back to their ships with their tails between their legs. But in the end, it did no good. The wedding was a somber affair, masquerading as a party. The younger son laughed and drank and continued on as if nothing at all had changed, as his brother gritted his teeth, and the lady found herself forced to placate their guests as best she could. Day after day, she giggled at the prince's jokes, toured the grounds with the beauty, and maintained a smile when she caught the knight's mischievous glances. Soon, she found herself enjoying their company and reveling in the stories of beyond the water's edge, of cities and sights she had only ever dreamed of. With every story, her yearning of more grew greater. She found herself sitting at a window, thinking of all the things she did not know, when the door to the servants' quarters creaked open. The knight froze in his tracks when the lady spotted him, expecting a tongue lashing or worse. "Why are you here?" is all the lady asks. "I understand the others. The prince is here for family, duty. The beauty is here for status. But you, why are you here?" "Adventure," he said simply. "To see things I have not yet already seen." She nodded as he departed. That night, the night filled her dreams, washing over her like waves on the sea. She understood those feelings well. She awoke in the morning to find that, to her relief, her father had finally extended an olive branch. He had arranged a final tour through the cliffs to see the waterfall temple at the heart of the Isle. It was the most beautiful and sacred place in the whole land, and a place where foreigners were rarely allowed to go. Dismayed that the younger brother had led them off without her, she hurried to the stables to ready her horse. Her father urged her to leave them be, that the journey was too treacherous for her alone. But she so wished to see their faces when they saw it, that she would not listen. She made up time, maneuvering her horse across the rocks and through the trees, and up and up and up, until she could hear the muffled voices on the wind. With excitement, she rounded the cliff top, just in time to see the ground in front of her give way. Horses and men cried out as the cliff face crumbled. She saw the knight push the beauty to safety as she sprinted forward, but could do nothing but scream as her brother and the prince fell. "Ride," cried the knight. And she did. She rode faster than she ever had before, back through the trees and across the rocks, back over the fields until she reached her father and sounded the alarm. They returned in haste, dragging ropes and boards, hoping all was not lost. But to their surprise, the young lord already lay in the dirt. He was bloodied and broken, but his chest still rose and fell. And as the lady knelt by her brother's side, she heard him murmur, "He saved me. He saved me first." By nightfall, the party was dirtied and exhausted, but both men lay in the healer's quarters, weak but alive. For days and nights, days and nights, the beauty cried, the lady prayed by her brother's side, and the knight tended to his prince, changing bandages and cleaning his wounds. The arrogance she had seen earlier had vanished, replaced with devotion, kindness, and resolve. And slowly, 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 both the prince and the young lord began to heal. "You saved my brother," she said one night as they sat in the darkness. "He is alive because of you." "I did what I could, my lady," was his reply. "But you helped him first, before your own prince. Why would you take such a chance? Make such a sacrifice? Your brother was more gravely injured. It was what was right. Still," she stood and placed a kiss on his cheek, "still, I am grateful." She found herself hesitating to pull away, trapped in his gaze, as all of her emotions bubbled to the surface. She felt lost and safe all at once as she leaned in again, this time placing her lips to his. His hand gently moved over her hip, holding her steady as her knees weakened, and kissed her back. In that moment, they both knew their lives had changed. As the months went on, the prince's strength grew, and so did their love. And soon it was time again for the party to leave. "Take me with you," she whispered into his chest as he readied to board. Show me all the places I have not yet seen." He kissed her, but shook his head. "I am just a knight, my lady. You deserve more than I can give you." He kissed her hand and turned, hiding the anguish on his face as he stepped onto the ship. As the ship pulled away, he watched, his heart aching as the island shrank into the distance. "What if there is no more I want?" she asked, stepping from the shadows and joining him by his side. "Then we are to have a great adventure indeed," he replied, entwining his fingers with hers. "And there is nothing that we will not see."